And welcome everybody to the Geeking Poetic channel. I'm your host Larry Roberts, and yes, we are already back with another installment of the Kiss Vinyl Show. It's a little bit that I like to do here on the channel where I focus on one of my favorite bands of all time, and yes, that is Kiss. Now, it seems like it was just yesterday, although actually it was a few weeks back, I just put out a new video where I did an unboxing of the 50th anniversary Dressed to Kill box set. In that Super Deluxe box set, there was a remastered version of Dressed to Kill, as well as a complete demo outtake album. There was a couple of live albums in there from Cobo Hall and Davenport, Iowa, from the Alive era. And at the time, I was blown away at how great this box set was. And I said, man, I don't know how they can top this if they do an Alive box set. Well, guess what? Here today, I have the 50th anniversary Super Deluxe Alive box set. While I have looked over what the specs are of this set, and I've heard a little bit of it so far, I have not seen the actual product. It just arrived literally this afternoon on my doorstep. So once again, I thought it would be a lot of fun to unbox this on camera, and you get to see and hear all of my true first impressions of it. I'm a lifelong Kiss fan and a Kiss collector, especially the vinyl. I love collecting Kiss vinyl, so anytime they come out with something new like this, I'm pretty eager, but I'm also very curious. I'm curious to see how this is going to size up against the Dressed to Kill set from last month, because if you watch that video, you know that I was blown away at how great that set was. So this one, it's got some stiff competition, but hey, enough talking. Let's dig into this box and let's see what we've got. All right, so I got the box open, and just like with the other videos, I like to talk about the way it was packaged. Now, this came in a nice sturdy box, just like the Dressed to Kill 50th anniversary one did. I will say they didn't do quite as good of a job of taping it down. If you could see here, there's two pieces of tape that go over this way. There was no tape going this way, so when I did get the box today, it was kind of buckled here on the top, and that was a little concerning because rain can get in there. If it rains, things can just get moved around. And but it looks so far like it's okay. Now, just like with the Dressed to Kill set, it comes with a t-shirt, and this one specifically is a replication of an old style concert shirt you might have gotten back in the 70s or the early 80s with the Alive album cover art on it. And as you can see, this is what it looks like on the actual shirt. So yeah, this is really more of that old school style, like I was saying, what you would find on an old concert shirt. It's not like a super high quality color separation type shirt, but I think for this it works just fine. I like that style. And on the back, you can see it replicates the 4 album side listings of songs on each side of Kiss Alive. And as with the Dressed to Kill shirt that I featured in the last video, this also has a cool little tag patch sort of thing sewn on the front. And looking at it, the tag says Kiss Alive 50th Anniversary, released September 10th, 1975. So it's just a little special thing they do to make these shirts just a little bit more stand out from the average concert shirt. All right, and then here it is. This is the box set. As you can see, it comes in a box with a bunch of styrofoam around the sides that keeps it in place. And here it is out of the shipping box. So they went with kind of a, I don't know, like a metallic red. The whole thing has a shiny metallic quality to it, so that's pretty cool. And of course, it has a giant hype sticker on the front that I will peel off and put somewhere because, yes, I saved the hype stickers. And on the hype sticker, it lists that it comes with 8 LPs plus Blu-ray audio, all limited edition, 120 total tracks, 88 total unreleased. All right, so the plastic is off, and I'm happy to say that real quick, I took a look at all the corners and edges of this, and my box set seems to be in good shape. I know some of you out there already were expressing your dismay on the forums that you were getting sets, just like with the Dressed to Kill one, where there was some dings and crushed spots and and man, that's such a shame. I hate to hear that. Again, I don't understand what it is with the inconsistency with the shipping and the packaging, but yeah, some of us unfortunately don't get as lucky as others, but I would definitely complain about it. Okay, the lid is off, and the first thing on top is this awesome replica of Peter Criss's drum head from Kiss Alive. I mean, that looks really, really cool. It took me a moment to look at it and go, what am I looking at? But yeah, that's an old drum head, you know, from his kick drum that you would see like on the front of the album cover. And then next we have a slip mat for your vinyl turntable. So that's great, man. So yeah, this goes along with the one that I got for Dress to Kill. I also got one a while back for Rock and Roll Over, which looks great on the turntable. I'm always happy to have more of these slip mats. I ain't complaining about it. Next up is the 50th anniversary remastered version of the classic, as we all know it, Kiss Alive. It's got the same gatefold like we are all familiar with, and the vinyl in these sets are not colored vinyl, they are just black. These are not like special swirl colors or picture discs. Those are coming later. The labels for these have a certain color to them. They are not just a replication of the old blue labels, although they are meant to look like the classic Bogart era Casablanca labels. All right, coming up next, we have, oh, nice. I love the photo they chose for this. So this is the Live in Davenport, Iowa show 2. So the first set, if you want the first set, you have to get the Dress to Kill Super Deluxe box set. This is the second one from the second show they did that day. And on the back, instead of the photo of the two boys with their sign, it is a black and white photo of the band, most likely, again, doing Black Diamond, because that's usually the pose they got into when they were doing the end of Black Diamond. For the gatefold, as you can see, they did something a little bit different. There's a giant live shot of them, another outtake from the Kiss Alive photo cover, and then there's 4 individual live shots of the band. Those are great shots of the band there. I love the way they designed that. Very, very well done. And with this one, again, it is black vinyl, but this has sort of a, I don't know what you would call that. That's sort of a lavender colored sort of label there. And if some of you are yelling at me and you're going, that's not lavender, that's more whatever, you got to understand a little bit of this has to do with the lighting in here. It may not look super bright to you, but I have tons of light on me. So the light of these labels looks probably a little bit different to you than it does to me. So forgive me. And the song list on the Davenport show is basically akin to what most of us are accustomed to with the Alive show. There's no surprises on this one. Unlike the Cobo Hall show in the Dress to Kill box set that had songs like Rock Bottom is the opener and Two Timer on there, there's no surprises on this one. It's pretty much the standard Dress to Kill tour set list. Coming up next, we have the Live in Wildwood, New Jersey show. Again, yet another Kiss Alive photo outtake. And it's a great one. At some point, I want to take all of these alternate live albums from the last 2 box sets and put them in a row just so I can see what they all look like. It's really cool to just see how many variations there were on that classic album cover shot. And again, it has pretty much the same lineup of songs that we found on the Davenport show, although it must be noted that the one glaring omission from both of these shows is that Rock and Roll All Night is not on here. Yes, they apparently didn't do Rock and Roll All Night at either of these shows, and because it wasn't a big hit yet. As we all know, the original version of Rock and Roll All Night that came out from Dress to Kill, it was put out as a single, but it didn't really do all that great, so it wasn't the legendary anthem that we've come to know, and that largely came because they did end up doing it live and recording it for the final version of Alive, and it's the Alive version that went to the top of the charts, or made it at least, I think, into the top 20. So yeah, that is the one glaring omission from this set list here, but otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the classic sets. And then for this one, they just did one giant photo that stretches across the gatefold. That looks a lot like the photo that they used for the Cobo Hall show in the last set. I'm going to have to compare that and see if that's the same shot or if it's just slightly different. I love the live shot they chose for the back of the cover. I think it's great. And the label on this set is, let's see what the color is. I don't know, that's kind of like maybe a beige kind of color. Again, it's really hard to tell in this light here, but it's definitely something more of like a silvery beige or a gray. And this is the double vinyl with all of the rehearsal outtakes and the Cleveland songs. As you can see with the cover, they went for something completely different here. They chose some black and white outtakes of live shots of the band. I love this. I think this is great. The only thing that I don't like about this personally is I wish like maybe somewhere in the middle it still had, even if it was black and white, a Kiss logo on there. Without the Kiss logo on there, I don't know, it seems weird. I feel like every Kiss album should have the logo on there somewhere, more than anything, whether it's artwork or it's band photos or whatever it is, the logo should be on there. But I mean, this is just an outtakes album, I get it, but that's my only gripe. Otherwise, I think the shots are very cool. I think this is pretty neat. I mean, there is the Kiss logo on Peter's drum there, so I guess technically that does apply, so I'll give it a pass. On the back, there's a great live shot of the crowd, showing guys holding up their posters and their vinyl. That's so cool. I love shots like that. It really takes you back to that time. The lineup of songs on this set is really interesting. It has Kiss Jam, whatever that is. It's got Room Service. It's got Strange Ways. I mean, we've never heard Strange Ways in any kind of live capacity, whether it was from a rehearsal or a sound check. It had been rumored for years that they had attempted on a couple of occasions to do Strange Ways, and that has been on so many Kiss fans like wish list for years, was to hear them do that live. So this is like pretty cool to have this on here. And then it's got Rock Bottom and Watching You. And then on the next disc in here, it has She, the Ace Frehley solo, Nothing to Lose, Come On and Love Me, 100,000 Years, plus of course Peter's drum solo. So that's all that features on here. It's just a little chunk kind of from the middle of the Cleveland show. And like I said, people were disappointed that they didn't get more from that, but I don't know. It is what it is. If they say they didn't have good enough material to put out there and put on here, then so be it. Let me know. Have you ever heard the complete Cleveland show? Because I don't know if I've ever heard all of it. I know I've heard some songs from it, but I don't think I've ever heard the whole show. So I'm not sure if the entire show is actually floating around out there. And if it is, what kind of condition is it in? I mean, would it have been worth officially releasing? Let me know in the comments if you have the answer to that. And on the inside, it is another live shot. And that's a really cool one. That's one I haven't seen too often. I don't know if I've ever seen that particular version of that shot. So it's always exciting to see old Kiss photos that I've never seen before. It's like I mentioned in the last video, it's amazing after all these years that we're still getting presented with photos and video and audio that we have never seen or heard before. It just goes to show that, like, you never know when you're going to hit the bottom. I mean, that well just keeps getting deeper and deeper, and you keep finding cool new stuff to unearth. Okay, and so here's the interesting thing about what they did with this. So what they did here was, as you can see, it's got a silver type label on the one side, but what is the label on the other side? It's not a label. It is like a laser etched picture into the vinyl. I'm going to try to get that as best as I can for you to see at home. I apologize if it doesn't come out as clearly because it's really something difficult to capture on camera. But yeah, it's a photo of the four laser etched into one side. That is really, really cool. So coming up next, something that is very, very cool to a lot of us, especially if you can't afford the real deal. They did a 50th anniversary version of the old tour book from the Alive tour. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the original one before. I don't actually own it. A good old friend of mine that is no longer with us anymore, unfortunately, he had this tour book, and he would let me pull it out and look at it anytime I wanted to check out the photos and just bask in the glory of vintage Kiss. Yeah, this is super cool. So yeah, it is like an old concert program. And, you know, the price on the original one from 76 has just gone through the roof. I don't think I will likely ever get it unless I get really lucky and I find a deal on it, because otherwise these things cost like several $100s, and it's bad enough I'm buying all this vinyl. I can't go and spend several $100s on an old tour book at this stage of my life. So I will happily take this replica that is part of the 50th anniversary, and I think it's great. I'm so happy they included this. And next we have the hardcover book. Yes, it looks an awful lot like the hardcover book that came with Dressed to Kill in the Super Deluxe box set. It has the whole Electric Lady Studios box cover replication on the front. And in this book, it's got loads of interviews with everybody from the band to Bill Aucoin to Eddie Kramer, Larry Harris, Neil Bogart. I mean, a lot of these people aren't with us anymore, so these are like archival interviews that they've culled together. And along with a whole slew of great photographs. Again, photos not only of the band that I've never seen, but just photos of like test proofs of the album covers and candid shots of the band backstage. There's a lot to delve into here. Yeah, this is going to be another great read. I can already tell. And I'm looking forward to getting into this one as soon as I get done with the Dressed to Kill book. And everything I just showed you would be more than enough to, in my opinion, make it worth the asking price. But no, there is a ton more stuff. Here is yet another folder, again, very similar to what came in the Dressed to Kill set. This is a replication of an old press kit folder. This is what they would send out from the record label to various press outlets to promote the band. And right off the bat, inside we have a replication of an old, I believe, it's a sticky, so this has got to be like an old backstage pass. And here in the folder, we have the Dolby Atmos version of the album on CD. It just comes in a little slipcase, so, you know, pretty no frills there in terms of how they're packaging the Blu-ray Atmos version, but I don't think you I don't think you need anything more with everything else they add into this set. We have this sheet that has various versions of the Alive album being promoted. And we have replica ticket stubs. This one was for Cobo Arena in Detroit. Here's a replica ticket stub for the Wildwood, New Jersey show. And another ticket stub. And another thing they added in here, I think this is such a cool addition. It is a replica of the poster that Bruce and Lee, the two young guys that are holding up this on the back of Kiss Alive, that they created and they brought to the concert. They made it themselves, and they made a replication of it. I mean, man, you know, I've been staring at this since I was a little bitty kid. I always thought it was so cool. And then here's a replica of the Wildwood, New Jersey concert poster for their show on July 23rd, 1975. And next in here, we have more coasters. Yes, these are like little drink coasters. Again, they gave us ones that were featured in the Dressed to Kill box set, and we have now ones in here. And I got to tell you, I like these even more because these coasters are replications of the 4 photos that were featured in the original Kiss Alive booklet. And I've already talked in the past on this channel a couple of times about how much those photos meant to me. Seeing them on the wall of a childhood friend when I wasn't even in grade school yet. I saw those photos on his wall, and, you know, it changed my life. So anytime I see these photos, I get excited. So having them in coaster form, that is pretty damn cool. And then coming up next, we have replica guitar picks. Now, these, I can tell you, definitely don't look like the old guitar picks from 1975. I believe those were white. I don't remember them ever doing it in this kind of red tortoiseshell style. But either way, this is still really cool. It's just a cool little addition to have in there. And we've got another sticky. This one is for Kobo Arena with the classic shot of them from the first album cover. And then there is this transfer, this Kiss Alive transfer. This is kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about it. That Paul almost looks like Paul from the Rock and Roll Over cover. And yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that image before. So I don't know. This is interesting. I don't know if this is an actual replication of something that once existed, or if this is something new that they came up with. This might have actually existed. This could have been. There were so many different like iron-on transfers and stuff that were done back in the 70s. But yeah, I've never seen this particular one before. So again, let me know in the comments if you are familiar with this. Coming up next, it is another Replica concert poster. Kiss in June 1975 with special guests Journey. Oh man, that is exciting to me because I am a huge Journey fan, especially I love early Journey, and that's what this would have been. This would have been first album Journey, way before Steve Perry, when they were just touring for the debut album, and Greg Raleigh was the singer. So anyway, I won't go off on a Journey tangent, but to see Kiss and Journey back in those days for Dress to Kill and the first Journey album, that is like a time traveler's dream for me. So I would love to have seen that. But last but not least, out of this folder, they have 4 glossy black and white promo shots. This is like something that would have came in an old press kit. So we've got Gene. Of course, we've got the incredible Ace. We have Peter Criss on the drums. And last, we have Paul Stanley. And last but not least, we have this black folder. Yeah, there's still one more thing in this box. It just never ends, but they really do pack a punch with everything they include in this set. And in here, we get a Kiss is Alive sticker. We get a really trippy lenticular Kiss Alive album cover photo here. And I don't know how much you'll be able to tell on camera, but looking at it, the way it moves, yeah, that is pretty cool. We get another Kiss mobile, cardboard mobile. Now, this is a thing that you can put together and you could hang it from your ceiling. This is the kind of thing you would see in record stores a lot. Back in the day, they would have these mobiles they would send to the stores as a promo, and it would have various photos of the band along with the album cover, and they would hang it from the ceiling in a record store, and it was just meant to catch your attention. And it has the 4 photos, like I talked about earlier, from the inside booklet, as well as the album cover and that iconic Kiss logo with the sparkles on there that was also featured on the inside booklet. They have a replication of an old press release, some copy here that they put together that was intended to not only inform you about the band and the album being promoted, but stuff that journalists and newspapers could take quotes from and use for articles they might write about the band. And once again, we get the Gotham Rock City News. This time, it has a cover story here about Eddie Kramer, the man behind creating the Kiss Alive album. And Eddie Kramer is an absolute legend. He's just about as legendary as Kiss and the rest of them. This man has worked with Hendrix and Kiss and Zeppelin and more. And yeah, I'm definitely going to look forward to reading that. I always am very happy to hear what Eddie Kramer has to say. And we have 4 more glossy individual shots of the band, although this time they are not black and white, they are in color. We have a live shot here of Gene. We have a great live shot here of Paul with his Firebird. Man, that's great. We have an iconic shot of Peter Criss behind the drums with the crossed sticks. I mean, this is what I think of when I think of Peter Criss from back in the Kiss heyday, as I think of like this shot, basically. And once again, last but not least, we have Ace Frehley with the Les Paul Custom with the 3 humbuckers on there, the black one. I mean, for guitar folks like me, this is a great shot, and a lot of us drool over that guitar. So excellent photo choice. I'm really happy with all 4 of the photos they chose to put there in these big glossy versions. Yeah, I think those are going to go up on a wall somewhere. And so that does it for this unboxing and review of the box set for Kiss Alive's 50th anniversary. Now, some people might be saying, well, how does it sound? You said you heard it. Well, I haven't sat down and listened to the entire thing. Obviously, I haven't spun the actual vinyl yet because I just opened it, but I have heard some of it online. I think it sounds great. I'm very happy with the stuff that they did in terms of the remastering. I definitely think it sounds present and bright and clear, although I always thought the album did sound pretty good. I was pretty happy with the 2014 remasters, but I do think this one sounds even more clear and well balanced. I'll be very interested in hearing that Atmos version when I get a chance. The outtakes, like I said, are very cool, although I know some people were also a little disappointed that some of those rehearsal outtakes don't feature vocals on there. That kind of stands to reason. If they were recording any of those songs like Room Service and Strange Ways for possible inclusion on the album, what they would have done is gone into the recording studio later and then recorded the vocals, in the studio as opposed to live. Because as we've heard on plenty of bootlegs, the live vocals, there's a lot left to be desired there in terms of they're out of breath, they're jumping around, they're a little hoarse at times. You can hear a lot of extra noises in there. So it's not uncommon for even albums that you don't realize are done this way and you might think are completely live. I got news for you folks. Here's a little industry insider thing. Most of the time they record at least some, if not all, of the vocals in the studio. It's just the way it's done. I mean, you're still essentially getting the vibe and energy of a live show. And that's why a live never really bothered me. All the controversy about, oh, it's not really a live album and all this stuff. Well, I mean, I think that what matters is that the live energy is there. If you listen to the songs on Kiss Alive and you compare them to their studio counterparts, I mean, they're night and day. The energy, the speed, the whole overall sound of it, it just sounds, in most cases, I think it sounds better on a live than those slower, more dry recordings they did in the studio, although I do love those studio recordings as well. So whether or not all of this is 100% recorded live in front of an audience or not, it doesn't really matter to me. What matters is that the energy and the whole vibe of what you would expect is there on the record. Now, how do I compare it against Dress to Kill? Well, I gotta be honest with you. As great as this is, my first impression is I'm not quite as blown away with this as I was with the Dress to Kill set. Now, granted, that might be a little bit unfair because the Dress to Kill set came first, so, these are both very similar in a lot of ways. But I just have to say that I think in terms of everything that was included in the Dress to Kill set, it was just a little bit more exciting of a package overall, because you had not only the album itself, but you had all the outtakes and different versions of the studio songs. And then you kind of already had a Kiss Alive sort of box set thing happening there, because it's got the complete Cobo Hall show and one of the Davenport shows. And both of those shows on that set are fantastic. So unfortunately for them, I do think that set just sort of took away a little bit of the, excitement and explosiveness of this Kiss Alive set. And maybe if they hadn't been released so close together, there would have been a little bit more time for anticipation, and maybe I would have got bored with the Dress to Kill set and been excited all over again for this. But that doesn't mean I don't think that this is a worthwhile set to get. There's lots of great stuff in here, but I just don't think it had quite the same diversity as that first set. Plus, that first set from Dress to Kill had a lot more extras than this one does. So, again, I think that they're roughly about on par, but I just like the Dress to Kill set a little bit more. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. I'd love to know, especially for those of you that have gotten both sets. How do you feel the Alive set compares to Dress to Kill? Now, there's nothing that says it has to be better than Dress to Kill. I do think that they're very close, but Yeah, I don't know. I'm very interested to hear what you all have to say about it, and what do you think about the stuff they included in this set, and especially once you get a chance to listen to all the material on here, I'd love to get your input. The reason I do these videos is because I love hearing from other like-minded fans, Kiss fans, music fans, vinyl fans, collectors and nerds like me in general. That's why I do this channel. So please, if you wouldn't mind, please consider leaving a like and a subscribe so you know when I have more stuff like this coming out, because like I said, I'm going to have more Kiss reviews coming up very soon. I'm going to be reviewing and counting down other bands that I love. I've got Cheap Trick and Queen and the Beatles and some other bands that I really love talking about on the horizon. So leave a comment, share this with other like-minded fans, and hopefully I'll see you back here soon. In the meantime, I hope you go out and you listen to some great tunes, you find some awesome records, and just have a good time, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.